Hello, I'm Bliznub, welcome to Building the Best. Today we're going to be looking at two of the brand new Syndicate weapons added to the game. We're going to be looking at the Vaykor Hek and the not the Sancti Castana, the Sancti Tigris, which are the two new shotgun weapons. Now, the first thing to note about the Vaykor Hek is that if we compare it to the Hek, its stats are very nearly identical, apart from the larger magazine size and crit chance, although we can ignore that crit chance as that's pretty much meaningless on a shotgun. But as these stats are identical, it's somewhat disappointing that the Vaykor Hek does not carry the Scattered Justice mod, which adds 200% multi-shot and a Cindy Bomb. Of course, the Cindy Bomb would be redundant, but that multi-shot near triples the Hek's damage and makes it extremely viable, and the Vaykor Hek simply can't carry it. Regardless, we're going to see how we can build this weapon. Now, just like the Hek, this is of course a puncture weapon, so we're going to put on Breach Loader. We're going to go over here and get Hell's Chamber, Prime Point Blank, and Vicious Spread. And then, whilst we could build this crit, as I've said, that's really not very useful, so we're going to build this for a elemental damage and status chance build with Corrosive Heat, with Shell Shock and Toxic Barrage. Now, there is an argument to be made for Corrosive Cold, especially seeing as there's a D polarity on this right now. But when you get heat procs on enemies with shields, it keeps their shields from recharging, which means that against Corpus, Corrosive Heat is slightly more effective, and heat damage is generally more effective than cold damage against Grineer. However, we're not going to be testing this weapon against either of those. Scattering Inferno. We're going to quickly take this, and as it is pumping out such ridiculous numbers, I thought we should take this to a boss. And we're going to be going and finding, on Jupiter, my apologies, Forward. As he is a boss that just has a massive health pool and a strange armor type, I thought it would be a good way to test this thing's raw damage output. He's not weak to blast, not weak to corrosive, he's not weak to puncture damage even. So I thought this would be a brilliant way of testing this weapon. And of course bringing Rhino so that Forward's Spine Strike doesn't immediately kill me and embarrass me. Now, Vaykor Hek's 8 rounds in the magazine make it much more, shall I say, usable in standard missions. Whilst the Hek holds a special place in my heart, and many of my formers, I could say that its 4 rounds make it a little less useful than it should be for a weapon which carries 4 former. Wow! I must admit I was not expecting this thing to do that. 2 rounds at point blank and the Vaykor Hek killed Forward. So we're actually going to run out of here rather than aborting out. I'm sure extraction's nice and close. And we're going to look at the other weapon, the Sancti Tigris, which is something I'm a bit excited to try because it has now the largest base damage in the game, boasting 1008 slash damage and a little bit of the others as well. But that 1000 slash damage is absolutely ludicrous and makes it really a little unbalanced, if I'm honest. I'm wondering why DE decided to do that, as you know, they've just released a balance patch for shotguns which has buffed them a little bit and made their drop off over distance more noticeable, but how much drop off over distance can you really have for 1000 slash damage? Whatever it hits, it's probably going to kill. So, if I can finally get back into my ship, let's take a look at this thing. Oh, of course my actions have consequences. Please, Stalker, do show up in my ship. That'd be fun. The Stalker could, well, stalker you in your own ship. So here it is, the Sancti Tigris, and let's quickly compare it to the regular Tigris. Although there's not much to note here, it's a flat upgrade. Every single stat that is changed is slightly better. And these are all slight changes, but then you've got to remember that the Sancti Tigris has New Loca's delightful Radiation Cindy Bomb, which is going to up its overall damage output substantially. So, of course, slash weapon, we're going to build this with Hell's Chamber, Prime Point Blank, Sweeping Serration, and Vicious Spread. Here you can see the 3 delightful polarities this weapon holds as standard, and it's already pumping out 14,000 damage and almost 50% status chance. So we're going to go for an elemental status build again, but this time we can finish it off, and we're going for Toxic Barrage, Scattering Inferno, there it is, Shell Shock to get corrosive, and of course we're going to go for Chilling Grasp and Scattering Inferno to get blast damage. And here we're seeing 22,000 blast and corrosive damage, 14,000 slash damage, and 92, almost 93% status chance. If you were to put a former on this and put the actual dual stat cold mod on, its status chance would easily be 100%. So let's try this thing out against Forward, although I'm not even sure that's fair. My money says it kills him in a single shot. And truthfully, I wouldn't be surprised if the regular Tigris could do this as well. So we're more just seeing that this thing can live up to its name. Of course, Forward, not weak to slash damage. So this weapon isn't, how can I put this? It isn't unfair against him. But we can see the Sancti Tigris' lovely duplex auto fire rate, meaning that I have to reload after each click. And I went the wrong way there. My apologies. Now, of course, the duplex auto, meaning that on the first click you fire the first round, and on release you fire the next. Let's armor up so that Vaykor can't spine strike me down. I would love to elude his bone chilling streaks, Lotus. That's why I'm Rhino. So let's see what this thing can do to him at range. I'm just curious. Okay. You could easily see that did a third of Forward's damage at maybe 100 meters. There is no way this guy can survive a shot at point blank from this weapon. And setting off the delightful radiation bomb, which, if there were any enemies in range, would probably not kill them, but would make them kill each other, which is brilliant. I must be honest, as far as Syndicate bombs go, I love the blast one that the Vaykors provide, but radiation has got to be a close second, as it provides crowd control in an emergency. So that's it, the 2 new shotgun Syndicate weapons. Please let me know what you think, leave a comment down below, like if you've enjoyed this video, and subscribe for more. I'm Bliznub, and this is the Sancti Tigris in all its delightful awe. This weapon will definitely be receiving some former. Thank you for watching.